Welcome. You're watching Mars Today, and we're back with episode number 15. We're recording this episode on July 29th, 2026 at 9:52 coordinated Mars time. So today's episode I've titled A Unique Structure. I think you guys are going to find this episode quite interesting. I've had this image for quite some time, but it's never really been shared by anybody. I haven't seen it on YouTube, but we're going to soon have a look and see what you think. And please leave your comments and please subscribe to this channel. So let's get on with it. Okay, let's have a look at today's first image. This area comes from Atlantis Chaos. It's a small cut I took. I've had this image for a couple of years, but I've never shared it with anybody or shared it online, but it has something quite unique about it. First, I want you to look at what the arrows are pointing at here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to center it. Okay, what do you guys see? First things first, I guess you notice this center circular structure. But what's unique about this structure is it appears to be surrounded by some type of wall. You could see it where these arrows are pointing at, right in here and right over here. And it kind of appears to surround the entire structure, although this part here looks quite eroded, so it's really hard to tell. And down in here kind of looks like there could be an opening. Now this looks highly unnatural to me. Like, come on, this is something artificially constructed. It's very, very obvious. The area that it lies in is highly eroded, as you can see. Most of everything else that surrounds it is hard to make out what it is, but there are a few other interesting things in this area that I also want to share, just to make note of. So right below our main structure here, we have something else here. This looks like some type of wall and a couple of other structures around it. They don't look like natural rocky terrain. If you look right over here, this is something quite interesting. It sort of stands up and comes to a peak. And same thing over here, something that seems to come up to a peak. It looks like it has rectilinear shape to it. Again, over here, look at this object, and this object. They seem to be kind of in alignment with one another all through here. Most of what's in this area is, again, this is hard to see or hard to determine. I don't see any specific shape to it. Now we'll move over right to this area here. Now this is very, very dark. If you follow the little hand, I'll follow it around the shape. It comes up to a peak and it's rounded on the sides. Just have a look. This looks highly constructed to me, and again, it looks like it has some type of wall surrounding it. Again, it's very dark, and if you guys can't visualize it, well, that's okay. Now up in here, I see what looks like a row of potential man-made structures. I see 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, these are all very hard to see. And up in here, which is very dark, this to me again looks like artificial construction, very highly eroded, but that's what it appears, at least in my humble opinion. Now let's move over here. Now up in here, you see this object here, it looks almost perfectly square next to again, some type of wall-like feature, and it surrounds something in the middle, as you can see. So if you look at this overall, there kind of is a lot to see, but again, when you're looking at highly eroded structures like this, sometimes it can trick your eyes and you may just overlook what's actually something significant that's there, but you may just overlook it and say, nah, this is nothing. Now I have a structure that I found right here on Earth that looks very similar to this, and I want to share that in the next image just for a few seconds. We'll go over and let's have a look at it. Okay, so I found a similar structure right here on Earth that highly resembles what I found on Mars. I blew it up a little bit. Sorry, it's a little bit blurry, but you can still make out its shape and its geometry. So let's look at the image on the right here. This image here is a picture of a city hall in a major city in Canada, and notice it's got these two side wall-like structures, which are actually large buildings, and then your center piece here. And when I go over to the Mars image, again, you see a very similar looking architecture, not exactly the same, but very similar. And this is why I believe that this is an artificial structure and not something that somehow came to being through natural processes. Okay, that's all I wanted to share, so let's move on to our next image. Okay, here's our next image. In this one you see your not so typical grid lattice-like formation. Well, I don't really consider this a formation. Whenever I see this type of configuration, it just smells of artificiality, and I suspect this is artificial in origin. Of course, we can't prove that without boots on the ground. But in this specific image, I want you to take a look at one key area right up in here. I find this part of the image the most compelling, and it tends to stand out a little bit more than the rest of it. If you look over here, you see two rectangular grid formations you can see the boundaries, and they're very similar in size and shape, almost identical. And if you notice, right in the top left corner, you see something that's sort of structure-like in both these two rectangles. Now I'll zoom in a little bit. We'll see how far we can go. Okay. So if you look up around here, again, I see some straight lines and right angles. These could be eroded structures. Of course, we'll never be sure. Down in here, again, this is pretty striking. These formations are not really that typical on Mars, but whenever I see them, I always suspect artificiality and, unnatural in origin. I see a lot of rectilinear geometric organization as well, so that tells me I think it's artificial. You may not believe it, but that's what I think. So over here, again, we see something that could be structural. It's hard to say. And right in here and up in here, this looks pretty eroded, so it's hard to tell really what this is. But it kind of resembles structures, but I'm not sure again. And again over here, so what do you guys think of this one? Okay, now I'm gonna show you guys a look at a view of this through the Mars 3D depth viewer, and you'll see it from a different perspective, from a lower angle, and we'll see what you think. So let's have a look at that. So now I have the image opened and already prepared and 3D rendered. with the Mars 3D Depth Viewer. Maybe you're not aware of this software that I developed, but I've shared it in several other episodes. What it does is it gives the image the impression of 3D and gives it the impression of depth. Of course, it's not real 3D, but it gives you a view of the image from a slightly different perspective. And again, in here, you can see the 3D version of the grid and lattice formation. I kind of like what this software does, but it's not the be-all and end-all. But I think it does a pretty good job, and I'll be using it in upcoming episodes. So again, you can see up in here the two rectangles that are basically almost similar in size and shape, but now you're kind of looking at it from more of a 30-degree angle rather than a 80-degree or 75-degree angle in the original. So that's all I really wanted to share, and we can move on, and we'll go back to the home page. So we're done with today's episode 15. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. We'll be back in the not too distant future. And as always, please hit the like button. Please leave your comments and suggestions. And I hope you guys have a great day. Take care, and we'll be back real soon. Thanks for watching.